All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's virtual First Thursdays presentation, focusing on the new year. Happy 2022, everybody. So our focus today is on the new year, setting new goals, and establishing that new, healthier version of you. Today's presentation is going to be presented by our EDWS team, who I will introduce here in just a moment. Before we get started, I do want to say that the presentation is going to be recorded, so you'll have a copy of this to watch again later, or you can share it with a colleague who may not have been able to attend. Throughout the presentation, if you have any questions or any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear it in the chat feature. On the right-hand side of your screen, you should see a chat box. You are welcome to type anything there. You can send it to everyone. You can send it just to the host and presenters so that we can see it, and we'll be sure to address any comments or questions at the end of today's presentation. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So again, Happy New Year, everybody. I know the last couple years have been a difficult time for a lot of people. It has been a very different and interesting time where we've had to adapt in a lot of ways. And throughout these years, we have still had to work on ourselves and finding those health goals and striving to become healthier versions of ourselves. And the new year is always a great time and a great opportunity to look a little closer at some of our behaviors, some of our habits, see what we can do to just increase our quality of life and improve our well-being. So January is a great time to get started having those New Year's resolutions and sticking to them. And today we're going to talk about what you can do to increase your chances of success. So our team, you can see here, we have our director, Cheryl Johnson Ransaw. We have Tony Pilote, who is the Health and Wellness Coordinator here with EDWS. She'll be presenting the latter half of today's presentation. Her emphasis is on physical activity. And then myself, Ryan Smith, I am the Wellness Program Administrator, and I'm a registered dietitian, so I'll be focusing on the nutrition portion. But all three of us work together to help people with their goals, whether the goals are related to physical activity or nutrition or mental well-being. All three of us can work together to help you achieve whatever it is that you want to work on in this new year. So the objectives of today's presentation, we're going to learn tips for making SMART goals. A lot of you may have heard of SMART goals before. If you haven't, that's a-okay. We're going to go all the way through it. And if you have, a refresher is really good. I think even myself, SMART goals are something that sometimes we can just kind of skip over, but it's an important part of the process, so we'll be going over that today. We're going to discuss specific strategies for achieving your goals, and then we're going to review some of the EDWS programs and other resources available here on campus and through USG that you can make use of to help increase your chances of success. So let's talk about goal setting. So when we talk about types of goals, there are a whole lot out there that we could think about. And today's focus is going to be on the wellness goals. Now, wellness is a pretty broad spectrum. You can see here, it may, at first glance, we may think of things like physical well-being, exercise. We might think of nutrition, but emotional well-being is a very, very important component of wellness. Social well-being, feeling that we have the relationships and bonds that we need to feel good. Being intellectually stimulated, feeling financially secure, all of those are considered wellness goals. So think creatively when you're setting up your resolutions. It doesn't always have to be, I want to lose weight. It could be, I'd like to be more financially secure. We can talk about things that you can do to set up strategies for any type of goal. So again, wellness is a broad topic that includes many components. And the great news is the strategies and tips that we're going to go over today will work for any type of goal that you have. So if you see something on this wellness wheel, or if you've got something else, even unrelated in your mind, SMART goals are going to help us with that. So if you haven't heard of a SMART goal, it's broken down into a couple components. So the S is for specific, the M is for measurable, the A is for attainable, the R is for relevant, and the T is for time-bound. And basically, SMART is just an acronym to help us think of all these key components that should be present in our goal. So we're going to walk through an example so you can see what these each mean. So specific is focusing on exactly what you'll do in your goal. So sometimes we might make a goal and say, I want to be healthier. That's a really broad goal. It's not very specific. So specific might be, well, how do you plan to be healthier? Measurable is have a way to measure if you've succeeded. So if your goal is, I want to be healthier, we can be more specific than that, but also we can be more measurable. What could we do to track our progress on our goal? So maybe your specific thing is, I would like to exercise more, and that's going to help you be healthier. That's a little more specific. For measurable, we might say, I would like to exercise for 150 minutes each week, and that's more measurable. Attainable is making sure your goal is realistic. So if you are, think of like a person who's not very active, maybe you don't really exercise right now. If your goal is to run a marathon, that might be a great long-term goal. But if you say, my goal is to run a marathon in 1 month, that's probably not going to be realistic. So we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success with goals that are within our grasp. Relevant is making sure that whatever your goal is aligns with your long-term goal. I think a good example of this is for people who are maybe trying to work on weight loss. Maybe you decide that, or maybe your overall goal is to be healthier, and you decide you want to lose some weight to be healthier. Well, if you lose weight through ways that aren't very healthy, maybe you are skipping meals, you're really not eating enough, and that's making weight come off. Yes, you are losing weight, but does that align with your long-term goal of feeling better and being healthier if it's hurting your body? So we want to make sure that everything is safe and a healthy part of the overall process. And lastly is T, time-based, and that's just setting up a timeline to help keep you structured. Maybe you want to exercise 3 times per week, and maybe your goal is to be able to run a mile, over the course of a month or two. As you work your way up, you start walking, maybe you're alternating walking then running. So setting some time things is a really good way to just kind of give you that finish line that you're looking at, that you're keeping track of. So these 5 key components are really important for making sure that your goal is well thought out and realistic. And the more specific you are, the more you're able to measure it, the more likely you are to be successful. So why SMART goals? We kind of just talked through it. SMART goals help you make better and more structured goals. When you take more time to make your goals, your brain is going to sort of save that information in your head and be like, yeah, I remember going through all of this. This is stuff that is important to me. I went through all these details. I know exactly what I'm doing, as opposed to maybe you make a quick goal and you just say, I want to be healthier, and you don't go through those extra steps. It's easier to kind of let go of that goal or have it on the back burner. Studies have reported that people who make goals and record them are more successful. I underline that because recording and tracking is so important. It's easy to maybe say in your head, or maybe you tell a friend for some accountability, hey, I'm working on a goal. This is something I'm doing in the new year. But I promise you, if you take the time to write it down, it can be on a sticky note that looks at you at your desk. It could be on a sticky note on your mirror, or maybe you've got a whiteboard or like a fridge magnet. You could type it in your phone. I've seen some people who they'll actually make their goal and save it as their phone background. So every time they pick up their phone, they've just got a reminder there of what it is that they're working on. So write it down, make it real, help cement it in reality that this is something that you care about and you are working on. So let's go through one more example just to show you how we might start with a broad goal and make it into a SMART goal. I want to eat healthier. That's just my first thought. That's my broad goal. A lot of us could do this. So that is relevant, right? That's a relevant goal. It's good for our health, but it's not very specific. We don't really know what to do with this. I will eat more vegetables. So that's a little more specific, and it's still relevant. So that's great. We now know that our way of eating healthier is going to be eating more vegetables. That's a great focus. But that's not measurable. I don't know how to determine if I've eaten more vegetables or enough vegetables, if I'm succeeding. So what if we turn that into, I will eat more vegetables with dinner every day? So now what we've done is we've made a specific goal. We've made it measurable because we can determine, hey, did I have a vegetable with dinner today? And that's just a yes or no, and that's how we measure it. But I would say if you are starting off with a goal, saying you're going to do more vegetables with dinner every single day, it might not be attainable. For some of you, you may think, yeah, I can totally tackle that. I'm able to handle it, and that's great. But if you're just starting off, maybe you don't have many vegetables in your diet right now, we might want to pick something a little more attainable, a little more realistic to help us out. So I will eat more vegetables with dinner 3 times. So that's specific, it's measurable. I think 3 times is an attainable and relevant thing, but it's not time-based yet. We're missing one more component, and this is kind of your call to action to make it happen, as soon as possible. And that final one is this week. So we've said, I'm starting this week. This is when it's going to happen. This week, I will eat more vegetables with dinner 3 times. And now that is a full SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So you can see what this process looks like. Maybe you've set some New Year's resolutions or goals before, and maybe they already were SMART. Maybe you have worked on making goals before and you've got some experience with this. Or maybe you were at the top where it was a little broad and you need to make it more specific. No matter where you land on this, our goal is to try to get down there to a full SMART goal so that we've got the best chance of succeeding and just feeling good about the work that we're doing in the new year. So I'm going to pass things over to Tony here, and she's going to pick up and talk us through the rest of today's material.
All righty, thank you, Ryan. So we're going to continue to move forward with these specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based goals, specifically applying them to exercise. So we're going to go through a few more examples. And the first one is I will go for a 30-minute walk 2 times this week. So we're hitting all of our points, right? It's very specific. We're walking. We know exactly what we're doing. It's measurable. It's 30 minutes. It's attainable 2 times this week, relevant, and time-based. So we're hitting all the different points where we're very focused on what this goal is and making sure that it's realistic for where we are at. We'll keep going with the next example. I will drink 2 24-ounce water bottles every day this week. Again, we're hitting each of those points, being very specific with what the goal is. Again, something that is realistic for us. And of course, this may look different for everyone. We're all at different parts in our wellness journey. But again, really trying to be smart with our goals. The next one, I will take 10-minute meditation break before lunch, Monday through Friday. Again, hitting each point, super important that when we make our goals, we're not just keeping it super broad. We're going through that checklist that Ryan talked about of really narrowing it down so that it's something we can stick to and even make into a habit long term. And our last example is I will cook a healthy meal on Thursday night this week. Super specific, relevant, measurable, time-based, and helps us to stick to our goal that is realistic with our schedule and what works for us. So we're going to keep going with tips to stick with our goal, right? As we make goals, it can be really hard to keep up with them as the year goes on. We get busy, maybe we start to lack motivation. There's different components that can distract us from sticking to our goals. So we're going to go through a few tips that can help us stay on track with these goals, especially as the year goes on and maybe as life gets a little bit more busy or stressful or hectic. So the first tip is write your goal down. We talked about it earlier, right? Writing it down, putting pen to paper, having some type of reminder visually really goes a long way with sticking to that goal. Again, seeing that visual reminder really helping us to remember daily what that goal is, what we're working towards, and maybe along with writing it down, you write down why you're working towards it to continue with the motivation. The next tip is tell a friend or share your goal on social media. So accountability really goes a long way. And tip 2 and tip 4 kind of go hand in hand what's going to come up, but just having a partner, having someone there to hold you accountable really helps. Again, we can start to lack motivation, maybe we lack focus, we get busy, maybe we get forgetful even though we write it down. So having that friend or that accountability through social media really goes a long way. And again, number 3, have an accountability buddy, right? Having a partner in crime, it really can help with keeping you motivated, keeping you on track. And the last tip we're going to look at is schedule reminders in your calendar or use sticky notes. So very similar to the first tip, but again, writing it down, having those continual reminders. A lot of the examples that Ryan gave earlier were really awesome of ways to have it constantly on your mind so that you're not forgetting about it. Because as much as we all do, you may, have family, have friends, loved ones you're taking care of, you're working, you have all these different responsibilities, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't invest the time and energy into your goals and your wellness goals. So have those reminders all around you so you can make sure to prioritize it. We get started on our wellness journey, and like I said, life gets busy, right? Or things get in the way, and maybe we get off track. So we're going to go through some ways to get back on track whenever we fall off, and it's completely normal. We all fall off track. We all have different things that come up that take away from us really prioritizing our goals. But again, we're going to go through some tips that can help with getting back on track. So the first one is don't give up. It is okay if you don't succeed on your first try. So giving yourself grace, right? Learning not to just meditate on maybe all the ways you messed up or what you didn't do correctly, but just getting back on the horse and giving it another try. I also like to go with not giving up is maybe being okay with making modifications. So maybe you set your SMART goal and you realize, okay, this is just not realistic right now. Don't give up. Don't just quit because it's not realistic right now, but adjust it so that it can be realistic for whatever you're dealing with within your life at that time. Our second tip is reassess your goal and identify your barriers, right? So what I just said, maybe you realize, okay, this isn't realistic right now for life. So maybe I started off saying, I'm going to go for a 30-minute walk 4 times a week, and I get back to work, I get back on my routine after a break, and I realize, okay, 4 times a week is just not happening right now. So let me reassess my goal, identify what's stopping me from getting that done. Maybe it's the beginning of the year and I just have a really busy schedule with work and some things to catch up on. So the first week, it just isn't going to happen. So let me, catch up on that work, get settled into my routine again, and then readjust my goal. The next tip is brainstorm ways to overcome that obstacle. So again, just the example I gave, we're going to sit down, we're going to look at my week, look at what's ahead in my schedule, what's really going to be realistic for that time being, and then reassess and overcome whatever obstacle may be standing in the way of me accomplishing that goal. And the last tip is rework your goal and try again applying what you learned. Something that's really helpful is I like to call it a snapshot of your week or of your month. As you are looking at what all you have going on that week or what all you have going on that month, it'll allow you to rework your goal to where you are at right now in life. So again, maybe we're coming back off the break, we're still getting settled into our schedule. So I'm gonna look at my first couple weeks. What do I have? What projects do I have? Maybe I have a lot of meetings, whatever it may be. I'm gonna rework my goal and try again to adjust it to whatever that month holds. And then the following month, I can sit back down, do the same thing, take a snapshot of the week, of the month, see what I have going on, apply what I learned from the previous month to make the second month even better. So now we're going to go into just our tools and resources that we have that can help you accomplish these different goals that you're setting for yourself at the beginning of this new year. So our first resources, we have health coaching. Myself, Brian, and Cheryl, we all offer health coaching if that's physical activity, if it's nutrition, if it's mental health. But if you're just wanting to have someone really guide you maybe through your SMART goals, help hold you accountable, maybe give you a little bit more structure and more of a plan, health coaching is a great outlet to use, and you can schedule an appointment with us at any time if you just email the EDWS email, and we will get connected with you. The next resource is faculty and staff assistance. So again, mental health is super important. And again, we are all going through very crazy times with everything that's going on with just the pandemic and all the other health things going on. But faculty and staff assistance, again, is a really great outlet to get some help, some accountability, to have some more structure, to have more guidance on how to work through maybe different issues that may be going on in your personal life, as well as even in your professional life, trying to find that work-life balance, it can assist with all of that. So you can schedule an appointment, you can email fasa@gsu.edu. If you have an emergency that comes up, if it's work-related, family-related, you can call the emergency number anytime, or you can call the main number that's here on the screen to set an appointment or to chat with someone as well. And the last resource we're going to talk about is tobacco cessation. Tobacco, of course, is something that is not healthy and is not going to help us in terms of wellness goals. And so if you are wanting to cease tobacco use and are wanting, again, structured guidance, help on how to do that, you can email EDWS. So some additional resources, these are resources outside of EDWS, but people that we partner with. And the first one is the Rec and Wellness Center. And so the gym here on campus. Here's a link where you can find out about memberships. They have a lot to offer, great equipment, a pool, classes, personal training. So many different things can come with a membership at the Rec. So again, wanting more structure, more of a plan, more guidance, the Rec is a great place to go to get that. We have Usg Well-Being. So the University System of Georgia definitely wants to assist you in whatever way that it can to help you on your wellness journey. And so they have so many events throughout the week, throughout the month that cover, physical to diet to mental health, different lessons and classes, activities, things that you can do, and as well as you can earn rewards for it. So you can follow that link to see all the different events that they have and participate in them. And the last thing is KeyPro. It's a employee assistance program. Again, giving you that more structure, that more guidance that you need. You can call and schedule an appointment with them, therapy appointment with them at any time. You can use the code and schedule that appointment at that number there on the screen. So now we'll take any questions that you guys may have, if that's about our programs and things that we offer, as well as USG, and as well as the REC, or any of the things that we talked about. You can utilize the chat or use the raise hand feature. As you guys are thinking through those questions, we are going to go to the next slide, and I'll just tell you a little bit about events that we have coming up this month that you are more than welcome to participate in. But again, please feel free to ask any questions at this time or message us together or individually. But if we can go to that next slide, our upcoming events. So we talked about how to set those goals, and maybe now you're wanting some different activities that you can participate in that will help you accomplish those goals, if that is fitness, exercise, nutrition, mental health, or other wellness components. So the first thing is we have Fun Fitness Friday tomorrow, 12 to 12:45. So if you have not gotten a chance to participate in Fun Fitness Friday, it's just a way to get a workout in on Friday while you're during the work hours, which is really great. And we focus on different things. I lead the workout. Tomorrow's workout is going to be about upper body strength and using our arms. So we're going to do a lot of different exercises involving the arms, back, shoulders, again, all of that upper body limbs and things like that. So that's what Fun Fitness Fridays is. We have Diabetes Prevention Program. And so DPP, if you are not familiar with what this is, we will have an entire informational session on it on January 19th. It'll last about an hour, and we'll also have other times to join that in February if you aren't able to make that session. But if you are at risk of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and are wanting to get a handle on it and take better care of just your health when it comes to that, this is a program that's a year long and is specific to helping you and assisting you in that journey. We have Meditation Monday. Next Monday, a time to just take 15 minutes to step away, to mentally clear your mind, to find some peace, to just kind of reset in the middle of your Monday. And it's just a really great opportunity, again, to really take care of our mental health, check in on ourselves, and take a moment to just meditate during our workday. On Tuesday, January 11th, we have a mini stretch break. So this is a session led by me, a quick 15-minute stretch. Again, allows you to just kind of get up and moving in the middle of your workday. Stretching is really important. I think it's something we don't always take advantage of as we get older, but range of motion, not wanting to have a sore low back or a tight neck or sore shoulders, stretching can help with a lot of those things and alleviate a lot of those things. So definitely feel free to join for that stretch break. We have a live cooking demo on January 13th that is led by Ryan, and he does an amazing job cooking lots of nutritional, healthy meals that are quick and easy for you to do. And so if you are trying to get into just healthier cooking and are wanting some fun ideas, creative recipes, and some guidance on how to make those things, definitely join us for that live cooking demo. And lastly, we have guided meditation on January 14th. This is a longer meditation, and again, a great way to just check in mentally, even learn how to just kind of stop and allow our minds to quiet themselves, to do a check with ourselves during the middle of our day. So we have lots of events this month, and even more on our website and on our calendar, so you can go to our calendar and register for those events at any time. And if you're not able to attend those events, we do record most of them, and you do have access to those recordings. So Ryan, are there any questions you see on your end?
Yeah, I do see a question here that we'll take a moment to address. So one of the questions we got was for suggestions if you've hit a diet plateau. And that's something that happens to a lot of people, I think not just with diets, but really with any health goal is maybe you've been doing well, you were moving along, making some progress, and then for some reason you just kind of stall. You get to a point where you feel like the changes that you were working towards have slowed down, and it just feels like the work is it's not rewarding you with the same amount of results as it was in the past. And this happens to pretty much everybody. It's something that we all can encounter in different ways. And some suggestions specific to the diet plateau that I would give is really looking for ways to mix it up a little bit. You may be at your specific plateau for a couple different reasons. So I'm just going to list some ideas that have helped people in the past. One of them is to try and get inspired again and excited about your goal. If you're working on something for a long time, especially if the progress slows down, you may start to lose your motivation a little bit. Doing something new, like looking up new healthy recipes, maybe you buy a new cookbook, maybe you go to the grocery store and you're trying out some new fruits or vegetables, some new healthy items, just something to add in a little bit of novelty to it, something new for you to try can be enough to get you inspired again and help with motivation. If you feel like you're having to kind of eat the same foods over and over again, for some people that can drain their motivation a little bit. So trying to mix up the variety there can be helpful for sure. Another thing is as you're working on goals with your diet, if you are, maybe you're trying to progress towards a weight loss goal, or maybe you are trying to lower your cholesterol or something like that. If you feel like you're getting stuck somewhere, it can be good to take a step back and look at all the factors involved. Tony did a great job when she was talking about the getting back on track set of things here. If you feel like you are stuck, maybe zoom out a little bit. Look at your environment and what's set up around you that you could change to help you. For example, some people I know, they struggle with getting in a healthy breakfast. It may be that they're low on time in the morning. It may be that they're just not motivated in the morning. They want to sleep in a little bit and they're not eager to get up and try to put something together. So maybe you zoom out a little bit and you identify that and you say, well, what if I did some meal prep? What if I looked up some 5-minute breakfast recipes that I could just knock out real fast? Or maybe doing things like overnight oats where you set it up the night before. So in the morning, all you've got to do is eat it, and that makes it a little bit simpler for you. So try to look at some of the other things that might be affecting that plateau and see if you can change some of that environment a little bit to help promote your success. Hopefully that gave you some sort of ideas, but as Tony mentioned, we do have health coaching. So if you are looking for some more one-on-one attention, we can definitely set up an appointment and really dive into your specific situation.
We did get another comment/question, and that question was that they just have so much going on between health, organizing, relationships, self-care. There's a lot to work on, and they're stumped on where to start. So maybe you have a lofty list of goals and you just don't even know where to begin. I think there's a few ways you can kind of strategize to figure it out. I think prioritizing, maybe you feel like, okay, something is maybe a little bit more important. They're all important, obviously, but there's only one us and there's only 24 hours in a day. And so I always say trying to start with one thing, build some healthy habits with that one thing, and then adding to it. So depending again on what those goals are, I think mentally always doing a really self-check mentally is really great. It's a good place I personally like to start, just because if I am feeling depressed or really anxious or just have some type of mental component going on, it's kind of hard to manage anything else. It's hard to get organized or feel motivated to eat right or to exercise if there's something else going on. So assessing where I'm at mentally, okay, how am I feeling? What do I feel like is realistic? What do I feel like is manageable and doable? And then going from there. But again, we do have that health coaching, which we can kind of focus in on your specific things that you're trying to manage and kind of help you figure out, okay, where to start. But another tip too is doing something that's realistic and a little bit of everything, right? So say, okay, exercise, mental, nutrition, organizing, I'm trying to do it all. But of course I want to be realistic. So maybe it's, okay, one meal a week, I'm going to really make sure that I try to make sure it's healthy. And I'm going to take 10 minutes to go out and walk on a lunch break. And I'm going to dedicate my Tuesday for 20 minutes in terms of organizing. But I think it can be manageable if you give yourself a realistic time frame to do those things. So those are just kind of my tips and thoughts on that. But Ryan, if you have any more suggestions in terms of when you have a lot of goals you want to accomplish, but don't know where to start, that could be helpful.
I mean, I think, Tony, I think you did a great job of kind of listing those strategies, and I certainly agree with all of those. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you do feel like there's a lot to work on. But like Tony said, small steps are the ones that can lead to big changes over time. If we juggle too much, it's easy to kind of drop everything because we get overwhelmed. And I think recognizing the success that comes from maintaining a small goal over a long period of time, that's a lasting change and something to be really proud of. So yeah, take it small, be patient with it, and just kind of identify, well, what are my priorities? What do I want to tackle first? And I can just put the other stuff on the back burner for now, and you'll get there. It just takes time. All right, and Tony, I do not have any additional questions on my end.
Yeah, no questions coming in on my end. Oh, wait, as I speak, there might be one. 1 second. Okay, someone just asked, what is our take on a vision board? I can give my thoughts, and then Ryan, if you want to add anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with a vision board. I think if you are a visual person and having images to help inspire you or kind of just put your thoughts on a platform, I think can be helpful. I think, again, it just depends on the type of person that you are. I know I am more of a visual person. It helps me to stay a little bit more structured. It also helps me to plan out my short term and long term. So even on that vision board, maybe you have, okay, in the next couple of months, these are my short term goals, and this is what I visualize those things looking like. And then I can also have my long term goals. So if say for me, my goal is financial, stability or financial freedom, Okay, here are my short-term goals of how I'm going to do that, how I'm going to be working, how I'm going to be saving, and maybe that long-term goal is that dream home that I have, or taking that really nice vacation that I've been dying to take. That's probably pretty expensive. But yeah, I don't think there is anything wrong with a vision board. At least that's how I interpret a vision board. Hopefully that's what you meant by that. If you mean something else, please feel free to clarify. But I think they can be helpful. Ryan, I don't know if you had anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Tony's comments there. I think any form of visualization like that and the work that you do to make the vision board, that is additional organization. When we talked about writing down your SMART goals, putting that pen to paper, making it a reality, a vision board is a perfect example of that. It's something to inspire you and just remind you on a daily basis, I'm working on this. This is something I'm making progress in. My biggest tip with this, and most vision boards kind of are this by default, but I want to emphasize, make sure the visualizations that you use and the reminders that you use are positive ones. Um, I think it's easy to get in our heads and maybe beat ourselves up a little bit and maybe talk down to ourselves, and we shouldn't do that. Positive psychology and words of encouragement are so helpful. Giving someone encouragement is always going to be more motivating than criticizing them or trying to motivate them through more negative means. So when you make your vision board, focus on the positivity, put images up there that will inspire you on a day-to-day basis and make you feel good about yourself and about the work that you're doing.
All right. Oh, okay. Q&A. All right, yeah, I think that's all the questions. Again, I don't know if you see anything on your end, Ryan, but I think that's all on my end.
Yeah, it looks like that's all the questions I had as well.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this presentation. We hope that all the information that was conveyed was helpful and helping you have a great start to your new year and reaching all the goals that you want to make for your wellness journey. Like we said, following this presentation, there will be a survey email that will be sent out. So please let us know your thoughts on today's presentation, if you enjoyed it, other presentations that you may feel will be helpful in terms of your goals or just any other information you are interested in when it comes to wellness. And as well as there will be a recording of today's session so you can go back and go over these tips as you're making your SMART goals in the new year. Stay safe and healthy, and thank you all.